Welcome, Corey. Welcome, JC, Isomith, Giancarlo. I feel like I need elevator music here, but
Yeah. Just make it on the side.
yeah. Welcome, Sam.
Yes.
Yo, yo. There's a lot of note takers. If anyone's got a particular note taker, we got Lamberts, Marks, Gregory's. Sorry, just letting people in. Give it another minute or so. Corey, how's Patanga? Patanga. You there?
He's good. I need to, I'm running a quick errand right now, so I can't talk, but I'll be more available and tuned in a minute.
Okay, no problem. I definitely want to get a doggy update when you come back. Hey, Christian.
What's happening?
Hi.
I'm
Welcome.
curious to see. I feel like there's a lot of excitement around this community call this week.
A lot of activity, lots of things moving in the.
Yeah,
Pardon me, I'm just letting folks in, people, and we'll get going here in a minute.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Welcome, Mark. Welcome, Austin. Thank you. You made it on time, Austin. You're perfect.
You're perfect.
All right. Welcome, Luke. Welcome, Juan. Awesome. Getting some critical mass here. And let me go start doing my screen share. Awesome, Sam. Settle yourself. Pull it, get some tea. All right. I don't know how this is going to share out. It's kind of annoying. All right. Do you all see the slideshow?
Still loading for me.
Not yet.
Okay. Let me know if and when you see it. If not, I might have somebody else share. Huh. Why is it paused? Let me give it one more shot.
Good to go.
Okay, cool. Awesome team. Well, let's jump in. Welcome to the June. I cannot believe it's June. Community Call 2025. There is a lot moving in Regen Network, in the larger regenerative community. I had the pleasure of sitting on the Refi DAO community call as well earlier today. Yeah, it was very exciting call. A lot going on there, and Monty would be stoked if you wanted to. You could verbally share just like some of the key kind of milestones that are coming up here on this call. I'd welcome that maybe in 5 or 10 minutes if you don't mind. Just to make sure our community over here is understanding all the activity over there. And then we've got, yeah, a number of things coming down the pipeline. I'm just letting folks in, pardon me, um, around Regen software, Regen Coin, Regen Ledger upgrade. Um, we've got folks on the move. Gregory's out spreading the good word up in the Bay Area at the moment. It's my 50th birthday party, June 14th. Very important date for all of you
Hell
to
yeah.
keep in mind. So that is very exciting. It's a 70s disco party. So if anyone wants to come out, you can only bring your A game and what you're wearing. I just want to be clear about that. You will not be admitted otherwise. But otherwise, why don't we get moving? This agenda I've got a few guests here that I may want to have invite up, but we're going to get an update from Regen Foundation. We're going to talk about the Validation Hub and Koi, explain what is moving there, some app product improvements that have been made or slowly going to be that are coming in hot for this next month. Quick update from Regen Registry, product and the product improvements. Sorry, that was a little agenda. And then we're going to talk about regenerative.fi. Luke is here from the Sell Public Goods team. What is it? And then for the Regen community, why does it matter for Regen Eco Credits and Regen Coin? Love to hear from Monty about some of the work coming up around ReFi DAO and a lot of the community activities that it is help organizing, coordinating. So that's what we're looking like today. And also on the earlier side, we're also going to hear from Max from Tokenomics. Max is always a incredible resource and stays up until some god-awful hour to join us from a deep other time zone of the world. So great. I started moving the foundation because I didn't know if you were coming in or when you were coming in, Austin.
That's
But
good. Whenever.
we can start with the validation hub since it's here on the slide deck. Let me just make sure that yeah. So I just want to make sure it moved as a group. Becca, are you okay to jump in now?
Yeah, definitely. Works great. So there's a lot that could be said here. I'm going to keep it pretty high level and brief. We as Regen Network Development PBC are going through a validation process, kind of a discovery and validation process. We have built a lot over the years, and in terms of actual like infrastructure, software, and services, our program, just a lot of different moving parts. And we are going through a process of really like pulling all of that to the forefront and saying, how can all of this work be used, leveraged in different ways and more kind of validated ways? We've experienced multiple market constrictions and are at a point of wanting to be really smart and lean and informed about how we move forward as a company. And so we started a few weeks back in a validation hub effort, and that being really a method to collect, evaluate, and organize around different strategies that we have on the table. So of all those different kind of arms and things created, we said, okay, what were the biggest buckets that we want to center our validation efforts around? The outcome of which being we'll be able to sit on a lot of quantitative and qualitative data from research, from doing lots of user discovery and calls, from prototype testing, from pitching different ideas, and then really like narrowing and really having kind of a collective understanding of what the opportunities are, the strongest opportunities are. So like I said, those components include being really clear about who we're speaking with, about prototyping, doing research about those different user segments, about the market, and being really open-minded. Those three buckets as of now are around Regen Coin and kind of the liquidity utility opportunities there to really leverage that as an asset that we have and that we have not been able to leverage historically in this way. The other is around our product strategy and registry infrastructure. So really the top to bottom of what we have built, product, software, programs, services, and how those could be upgraded, shifted, like fitting to different groups and based off of the really strong partnerships we have already. And the last is around opportunities with Regen Foundation, looking at some unique ways that we can position ourselves, perhaps as with all of the work that we've done, the infrastructure as really a public good, and that being situated under a nonprofit. So one of the tools that we're using to do this validation effort, next slide, is Koi. And Koi is a knowledge organization infrastructure. This kind of concept has been developed by Block Science, and different experimentation is happening in lots of kind of different ways. We are experimenting and using Koi as a way of indexing, collecting, and sense making a lot of information and knowledge that we have in our own heads and out there in the world from talking to people. We just have, within those strategy buckets alone, we have so much information, and it's really quite impossible for us to, parse it all. And I think move forward with the clarity that we want to have. So we're using Koi as a tool to make all of that knowledge discoverable, accessible, reliable, and actionable. So it's kind of part tool, part process, and part AI. The tool that we're using, and I'll screen share here in a second, is a simple Notion table to track all the different types of knowledge objects. You can think of them as documents and transcripts, synthesis, things like that. And it's really a reflective moment that we enter to as a company to say, for all of this knowledge to be really valuable and useful, there needs to be a processing piece. We need to get something in place that allows us to collect it together, sense make of it, dock into it, so that we can create relationships between all of those different knowledge pieces. We can curate it, we can search into it, we can generate new things from it, we can compose things based off of it, and be able to really leverage AI to parse and crawl through all of that knowledge that that we have worked really hard to gain. So I'm going to take a quick second, if I could share my screen, just to show you. It's very simple, but I think it's a powerful testament to simplicity, especially when you're working with lots of knowledge. So we have a simple table within Notion. This is our Koi repo, and there are lots of different types of documents. And as you can tell, we're organizing them in different ways according to what strategy they are, what type of object are they? Are they a transcript or an analysis? And then according to maybe even different verticals, like do they relate to carbon credits or impact financing? This is a way for us to be able to filter knowledge between different strategies, for all of the overlap between strategies, there to be really accessible knowledge relationships between them. So that if I want to dig into Regen Coin and connect it to work I'm doing with product, then that's all really accessible to me. There are lots of different ways to engineer this more, so we're keeping it very lean. I'm already feeling it to be just a really powerful tool in accessing and building up my own context and knowledge. So we're going to continue exploring it and sharing our kind of feedback to the community about how Koi is working for us, how we can use it differently, and welcome any ideas that folks have. And I think that this is an open-ended experiment, so we're not sure how it'll play out. But so far it's been interesting to see how we've leveraged it. So, and the last thing I'll say is that within our validation work and our use of Koi as a tool, we do have like clear goals in mind to get to clarity. And all of these things are meant to serve that goal, and that clarity will be something that will be felt and seen on websites, on documents, on our communications. So we're looking forward to all of that just really like dispersing out for everyone's benefit.
Great. Thank you so much, Becca. Any questions from the community about Koi or the validation process? And I'd just love to suggest that that we at R&D create space to share more about this as a way of doing better product validation within our broader regenerative finance movement, as well as how to organize, collect, and leverage our collective intellectual capital. So that I think would be a valuable contribution from our bumping around in the night trying to sort this out. But I feel like we're making great progress and probably has a lot of value to refi DAO, regen coordination, and the larger community. So. Great. Well, let's keep moving. Before I reshare the agenda and the presentation, Max, would you like to jump in and talk about tokenomics? And then we can move over into Regen Foundation.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the updates from the tokenomics working group are starting with the big debate we have about the vision for the network. There are two strategic directions we could take, either extending our attention towards the movement, and trying to be more on the side of coordination, maybe joining forces with the region coordination and looking into that. Or the other option is maybe to laser focus further into eco credits. So there are arguments from both sides, and we'll see how that develops, but feel free to join this discussion and share your thoughts. Also, we've observed our liquidity pools growing recently. They are now more than $200,000. And also, one of the fresh developments is with the GloDollar on Celo. We're now exploring the opportunity to support more ecological or socially positive currencies. If you don't know USD GloDollar, it's like a stable coin in dollar, but all the proceeds, unlike in Tether or others, all the proceeds they have from having the pools is going towards funding public goods. Yeah, thanks, Lana. The link is in the chat if you're interested. Another development was on the side of the ethical guidelines for our working group. So thanks to Gregory, we have developed this first version. There is a whole document. So when you sign up to the group, you will observe them and in full. But in short, it's about focusing on utility, not speculation. No selective sharing, no inside trading, publishing everything, radical transparency, and authentic passion. So speaking with integrity about our mission. Another cool update is thanks to Giulio Quarta and his agency, we have launched there have been a launch of the Regen funding service. So it should help the projects, all ecological projects, to find more funding in the space of Web3. I also posted the link. So if you have a project, you can sign up, and that would trigger Julia to start helping you. And also we've been improving the group dynamics we have. So we already have really stable and nice group of around 10, 15 people who are on the calls. There's a wider expert group, but there is this core focus group, which is always there. But we're looking how to improve and extend it further. So recently we started to post all of our conversations or summaries of the topics on X. And we're also in the process of moving to a more convenient forum, probably on Discourse, that would launch in the nearest months. And yeah, we're also looking doing some buddy program or newsletter. If you feel that you have ideas or suggestions how to help that, or how we can make it more welcome to you, please let me know. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Max. Okay, Austin, would you like to jump in?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So yeah, exciting. Last quarter, we launched a new website at the Regen Foundation, and yeah, it's a reflection of the sort of common set of initiatives and programs that the foundation considers flagship, like the CS-DAO, and integrating into the larger Regen registry. But in the process of creating a new website, we're excited to give dedicated space to a number of initiatives that have emerged over time. And yeah, we're really excited with it. It's a splash page. It's pretty simple, but kind of gives a flavor of how the foundation as an ecosystem actor is evolving. And that's at regen.foundation. So check it out. Thanks, Sam, for posting that. You can go ahead. We were at BioFi Cascadia, which has a lot of aligned folks, and is in some ways feels like a continuation of some of the refi work is articulated in the BioFi space. I gave a presentation that's a kind of distillation of a lot of work that we've been developing originally in some ways called ecological institutions, and we've just developed it into this idea of covenants that uses the regen stack and DAO that we're really excited to explore. So there's a link to the presentation there. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to check it out to get a kind of pulse from some of the discussions that are happening in the foundation and our ecosystem of stakeholders and partners. And keep going. I'll post this into the chat afterwards, but in part of interacting with a number of different entities that are interested in regen from the kind of a governance citizens assembly perspective, there's a lot of intersection between protocol governance on regen and the sort of like digital democracy, citizens assembly movement. And so I made a compilation of governance that's happened on regen that isn't specifically at the protocol or ledger level, but grassroots organizations that are using a DAO stack to do governance at on local level issues, from seed selection to resource allocation to retroactive compensation. And to date, I don't know of really many other compilations that look like this, where we're seeing DAO stacks being implemented in context, in situ, to make decisions around cooperatives. So we compiled this into a list, and we're really excited to feature that in some socials coming up and kind of dive into that. But many different bioregions around the world are represented. It's exciting. You can go next. I'll close out. We're working on a book that will be a kind of distillation of the last 3 or 4 years, and in some ways be looking in the past to kind of capture and to put down many different threads that are distributed across a lot of different networks, and then also have it be a kind of leverage point or a launch point for what's in the future for the foundation. So hoping to have that out by the beginning of Q4. It's kind of a sprint to do that. Would love to talk with anyone and everyone who's excited about that and potentially wanting to participate in some way. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Thanks, Austin. Regen Builder Lab. I'm not sure who's got this one, but feel free.
You want to keep rolling, Austin, since you...
Sure. Regen Builder Lab. For those who don't know, we renamed EcoCredit Builder Lab to Regen Builder Lab. That doesn't mean we don't love eco credits. That doesn't mean we don't talk about them in a large part of the sessions. It's meant to be like an office hours format for people who are trying to get into the weeds and the nuts and bolts on implementation using the tech stack that currently exists. And part of the motivation for calling it Regen Builder Lab was to explore the broader area, the broader surface area upon which regen stack is applicable, and to understand where's relevance, where's their traction within crediting, but also potentially in setting spaces, creating standards or certifications, citizen science related issues, contract adherence. What is the breadth and the potential of Regen's application? And so it happens every third Thursday. You can join via Luma. I would say roughly 20% of the people who show up have never been to a Regen meeting before. So I'd like to think it's a pretty cool front door for on the ground groups that are trying to get lean and mean with the tools. Click the link, join if you haven't checked it out. We usually do recaps on Twitter and LinkedIn afterwards if you aren't able to join, and all of the videos are on YouTube as well. So we're trying to be thorough with our documentation. That's it.
Thank you, Austin. Okay. I think Becca, you were going to talk about this?
Yeah, on the coattails of Regen Builder Lab, we've been thinking a lot about all of the different people that are coming pretty hungry for connection and information and utility and funding that really come through that open door of Regen Builder Lab. And we've been learning more about some of them through their creation of product pages on the Regen app. And they're making just these extraordinary pages with such rich action and narrative and obviously some really beautiful places that they're working in. And so I thought it would be great within a community call to make it a practice to spotlight them. So this is a Malala, the forest preservation. And I welcome you to check it out. I'll drop a link. The video is just wonderful and inviting, and I think for me at least it's an invitation into a particular ecosystem, a particular reality that someone's trying to restore and regenerate, and what their constraints are. And then for us at Regen is thinking about, well, great, like this seems to be a tool for folks to use to really like communicate their impact and their needs. So how can we foreground that even more? So I'll drop a link and you can check out one of the many beautiful projects that are spinning up on the Regen app.
And just to surface this, like we discovered this, it's been known, but if you're interested in looking at like a pretty wide range of projects that are currently on the Regen Marketplace, if you only select the unregistered projects in the credit classes on the left, you can see a wide range of projects that are like seeking a kind of home or like a fit, but there's a lot there, and this is one of those examples.
Right. Registry updates. Is this old slide? Maybe I'll keep moving. Sorry if that was.
No, this is good. So the first is about some new projects and new credits from Ecometric. So if you click the link, you can see a bunch of different projects. Some have sold, but we still have quite a few new and available credits from these projects. These are UK-based projects. So we're talking about regenerative ag and grazing projects that are measuring soil organic carbon stock changes over time. These are yeah, and these are run by Ecometric. And then Tika, if you want to take Smart Agro. Or yeah, I can.
Tika's here.
So this is an environmental stewardship methodology by an org called Smart Agro, really great group of folks that are working on conservation agriculture, kind of a tiered methodology for supporting the transition and continuation of conservation agriculture practices, particularly out of Cambodia. So when we're talking about that, we're talking about no-till, cover crops, using crop rotation, so very specific practices that they're trying to support the implementation of in Cambodia and beyond. Next slide.
Cool. Sweet. So shifting into software product, and this is a software product that covers both the app and the ledger. So just to speak to some improvements to the Regen app. So last time I shared that we were working on a Stripe integration that allows people to directly connect their Stripe accounts to our app for either pre-financing or purchases of credits under certain credit protocols. So that's actually enabled now. And so now you can go in and connect your Stripe account. So when you list credits, you can select either listing credits in fiat or crypto and then get paid out accordingly. We also are working on a new kind of profile for individuals and eventually organizations. And so now there's kind of a new profile view where you can view your public and personal profile. The personal profile being a little bit more of an admin view. Do you want to go back one, Dave?
Yep, sorry.
You're good. And then yeah, and then the last thing is while we're also developing features, there's a lot of work right now happening to work on performance upgrades to the application. So our application is great. It's also a little bit slow. And a lot of that is because we're querying quite a few sources. We're querying the ledger, we're querying our knowledge graph, built in RDF, we're querying our off-chain databases. And so we're working on improving app performance, primarily through migrating to Next.js because we're currently using React. So that should actually really help improve app performance. And then we're also optimizing queries and understanding, when does it make sense to query the ledger versus when does it make sense to kind of migrate things from the ledger over to Postgres databases just for quicker performance. So next slide. Yeah, and I shared about this last time, but I think that this is a pretty exciting feature. So we're currently working on new feature for multi-stakeholder management of projects, credit classes, and organizations. These are some of the mock-ups that we have that we're actually currently building the front end for. And so when this is live, this will allow people to have multi-stakeholder management of projects from different organizations. So you can include project developers, verifiers, different actors, all within the same project to share information, to provide reviews, attestations, upload data, as well as organizations. And the exciting thing about this is actually going to be wired up to DAO. And so I'll get to this in a bit, but in upgrading to Cosmos 0.47 with CosmWasm, we're going to be deploying DAO, and Noah from the DAO team is actually doing some custom work to support kind of user roles and role-based management of DAOs, which we're going to be using for organizations. Next slide. And outside of kind of just the software development processes, we're also working on a lot of product development. And mostly this quarter, we're focused on a big discovery campaign. And so, our goal in the kind of turbulent climate market is really to figure out how can we improve our product offerings in narrative via structured outreach and discovery campaign across quite a few different market verticals. So right now, historically, we've done a lot of work in credit markets, but we're really extended beyond that. So we're not only looking at carbon and biodiversity markets, but also grant programs and certifications, in setting sustainable supply chains, nature-related financial disclosures, ESG, compliance markets, water markets. And so, for all of those, we've been conducting interviews with different actors playing different roles to understand their workflows, pain points, decision-making dynamics, also just how macroeconomic conditions have affected them, and what that's influencing kind of investment into the space to push towards. We've been analyzing a lot of those, and the goal is to really kind of refine our product offerings and start piloting, different products with different use cases. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, and then on the ledger side of things, there's a lot of folks that have been working on this, so really just sharing back. But I know JC and others are on the call, so if anyone wants to chime in, please do. But we finally got a test net up for 0.47, and we're going to work on testing CosmWasm, the data module upgrades, and actually wiring that to our test app. I think with this new test net, we're actually going to be we're talking about depreciating Redwood, our existing test net, and just having a new test net, which will have, kind of a cleaned up set of projects, credit classes, data anchorings. And so, we're going to work with the community on that process to make sure any data that people have been using is migrated over accordingly. But we also have just, tons of projects, credit classes that people spun up that they're not really, using. And so with this new test net, we're just going to try to clean things up a little bit. Directly after the 0.47 upgrade, we're actually I'll jump down to the last bullet, but like I said, we're working with Noah from the DAO team to deploy DAO. So, all the work that Austin and the foundation have done with communities using DAO, they've actually been using the Juno chain or other chains. And so with DAO directly on Regen, people can now utilize this governance functionality on Regen. And then we're going to be working with them to implement some custom contracts to support role-based management. Currently a lot of the execution of different message types requires going through governance, but in practice, that's not really how organizations work. You might have a project admin that has certain permissions to execute certain functions. You might have your treasury manager that should be able to, execute certain spend proposals without having to go through governance. And so this kind of custom role-based account management support will allow for communities to still govern certain parameters, but also to execute certain functions based off of, how organizations more traditionally function. After that, we're already working with the community on upgrading to 0.53, which is really exciting. as this will bring, one, EVM compatibility with IBC version 2, and we're also exploring kind of the EVM module, which the Cosmos Hub is also working on. So that should make it radically easier for us to work with people working in Celo or Polygon or Solana or the Ethereum spaces, and actually have kind of direct interoperability and message execution across different chains. The next slide. Anything? I don't know if Giancarlo or anyone else wants to speak to the ledger stuff before we move on, but
I think you summarized perfectly.
Great. Thank you so much, Sam. Just a reminder for those who are fresh to the community, Sam's our director of product and a wealth of information for all kinds of things moving at the intersection of Web3 and intersection of Web3 communities and Web3 technology, as well as our Web2 markets in climate finance. So please feel free to reach out and figure out how we can better design and serve this, develop public infrastructure for all of us. I would like to invite Paul, do you want to give if you're there and available, do you mind giving a quick update on the discourse, common to discourse transition, if you are available to chat about that briefly?
Hey, yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, so I've started a process for migrating all of the existing content threads and comments and user profiles from the current Commonwealth forum to a upcoming new discourse forum. I have like a series of scripts that I've been running locally, and everything is working well. So I think in the next couple of weeks, I'll be coordinating with R&D to get a hosted instance of the discourse forum set up, and we'll actually migrate content over and then start working on setting up that forum as our new home and making it nice and cozy, and then start introducing everybody else, like the community and different groups within R&D, to that forum.
Great, thank you. I know it's been a lot of work to pull that together. I appreciate it. But ideally, that creates a more accessible, agile, and contemporary experience for folks to interact with each other and discuss issues. Great. We're going to move into a discussion around regenerative.fi, the Prosperity Pass, and I kind of want to start with Luke, and then I'd love to get after Luke connect in with Monty and ReFi DAO, and we also have Lena from Glow Dollar here as well. That there's probably a nice little triumvirate of updates on that front. So anyhow, Luke, are you there and available?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. I'm happy to. Do you care to share a screen? Or
yes, please.
Okay, let me just I'll enable that. I'm gonna make you a co-host just to make it nice and easy. So you're a co-host now. You should be able to share.
Great. So you can all see my screen. Wonderful. So maybe to start off, even a step back. Hey, Luke, nice to meet you. Been building in the intersection of regenerative economics and Web3 since early 2020. Was one of the initiators of one of the first real world impact DAOs, CuraDAO, here in my home country of Curacao back in 2020. And I've spent the past 5 years to my for-purpose venture studio called Collectivo Labs, building different solutions to help make the world a better place. One of the main initiatives that I know some region folks from is in the times when we were running Collectivo Network as our main venture. We're trying to leverage ecological assets and natural capital as collateral for community currencies. It's still a journey we're on through different ways and shapes. We're now building a climate action platform with UNDP and part of Climate Shift, the leading climate accelerator here in the Caribbean. But at the same time, to make ends meet, but also to progress and leverage our resources properly, we've been committing to a various range of initiatives. One of the main concepts we've been working on is helping the Celo ecosystem organize and innovate their public goods funding. That's also where the relationship with myself and Monty come from, and where we are doing a lot of initiatives on that front. I think the Celo region conversation is one for a different day. There's a lot to discuss there and a lot of potential, but today I'm just going to show two specific solutions that we have developed and are launching. Essentially, today's the soft launch. We're presenting it to a bunch of ecosystems, including you guys. And then from there, we're going to gradually roll them out more and more and more. Let's start with regenerative.fi. This is a concept that is built around leveraging the DeFi innovations in a way that keeps more and retains more value for regenerative assets and regenerative projects. I spent about 1.5 years at Balancer, which used to be one of the top 3 DEX platforms. They're still one of the top 5, and realized that a lot of the current exchange models take a lot of fees that go to people that don't necessarily care about regenerative economics. For example, if you swap on Uniswap, you're paying a fee to a New York-based company that's completely for-profit, completely venture-backed, has nothing to do with changing the world. So we've been building on a platform that does 2 things. It's one, an insights platform to try to get a hold on all the teams issuing on-chain assets, primarily in the regenerative sector. So, for example, we have an overview on our platform. You can go to like Regen Network. You can look at the different tokens. Currently, it only fetches the governance token, but there could be a potential where we map out all the different tokens and their kind of availability, their addresses, where they're bridged from, etc. But then the main innovation currently is, on the back of that, we have an exchange that does everything you want an exchange to do, and probably a bit more, because it's built on the Balancer infrastructure. And the nice thing about Balancer is that it allows for quite flexible pools. So you can create pools that have a fixed weight. So for example, a 80%, 20% pool, but there's also more concentrated pools like a stable pool, etc. The cool thing about it, though, is that this is not an actively concentrated managed position, like, for example, Uniswap V3 or V4, if someone is familiar with that. It's actually just a deposit solution. So it's much easier for people around the world to participate in, because you don't need to go through a complex logic of deciding at what price range you want to do this and that. You just click, you see what you should deposit into it, and you do that. So we've already, this is the beta version. We should be able to allow pool creation for end users later today, actually. But I already made a test pool, and you would put a very, very small amount of it into it. But we can already here now swap, let's say, 0.01 USDC for 0.53 regen. And the flow is quite straightforward, as you would imagine from an exchange. The vision here, though, is to introduce a native exchange token that will follow a mechanism that's been popularized by Velodrome, which is one of the other leading exchanges in the DeFi space. And their mechanism is very bidirectional. It's a mechanism that really tries to put ownership of the exchange in the hands of the teams and people that use it most. So what we're going to be having soon is, once that token launches, you'd be able to go to the vote window, and every cycle, every 2 weeks, the ReFi token holders will be able to decide where they want additional liquidity to flow to. And it's essentially a economic, but also a cultural effort where, for example, the early stakeholders might want to see more regen liquidity on Celo. So then they vote more on the pools that contain regen versus other pools. Because of that logic, it's very important to start off with the right subset of stakeholders, people that care about regenerative values. And that's essentially where the Prosperity Pass comes into play. The Prosperity Pass is a solution that we're also soft launching today. It's built on the kind of best-in-class account standards or wallet standards. It's built on Safe, which is the primary multi-sig wallet on EVM. And what it does, it allows users to connect their various AOA wallets or regular wallets into a single account, which is then able to read a bunch of different on-chain activities that person has completed that are curated by the Prosperity Pass team. I'm a bit afraid to click on badges right now because I know we had some issues with Subgraph earlier today. So if it breaks, just that you're aware. And we're going to see if it does that. But what you're supposed to see here, and it normally always works, but always when you do a demo, it doesn't exactly. What you're going to see is that it fetches a bunch of on-chain activities that we considered regenerative aligned. Think, for example, of right now already you could retire eco credits on Celo via the Regen Atlas UI and start earning points in Prosperity Pass. So that's a flow that's already live today. If you retire some eco credits from Regen Network on Celo, you already start earning here in Prosperity Pass. Also, Monty from RefiDAO is here. Lana from Glow Dollar is here. They are also integrated into Prosperity Pass. The more Glow Dollar you hold, the more points you'll get. Part of RefiDAO, you'll get more recognition as well. And the idea is to leverage this curation mechanism to get a good read of who is contributing what value to both the Celo ecosystem and the wider regenerative movement. And this would also be the primary mechanism for doing the initial distribution of the regenerative Phi token. So the people that have provably participated in meaningful on-chain regeneration, at this point specifically on Celo, but we can fetch any data point, would then also be the initial set of stakeholders for the regenerative DEX living on Celo. And I think the opportunity here that I'm seeing, or part of the opportunity here, is really collaborating closely with Regen Network, both for the liquidity that you have on Celo, but also for the activities that you've already curated over the past years, to make sure that there's an overlap with Regen Network and the kind of next generation of regenerative finance tools that we are about to spin up here.
Great. Thank you, Luke. Super excited. And yes, it just goes to, it's been opened up some really vibrant conversations about increasing the interconnectedness between Regen and Celo. And I think we'll have a whole nother discussion about that separately, but really excited to see Luke and Monty and the broader Celo team innovate in this space, and certainly create new opportunities to leverage the activity and the investment that people have made in this space, and make sure that that is rewarded and honored, and ideally brings in new faces into the broader regenerative finance movement. So big shout out to Luke and team. Awesome. Monty, I would love to get an update on RefiDAO. You guys had your community call this morning. It was lovely, and really exciting to hear what's moving across. You want to bring just to the fore anything that is moving for you right now? Happy to screen share. It'll give you a screen share up if you want, or you can just do a verbal update.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. And yeah, it was nice to see you in the call earlier. Definitely happy to share some high level kind of stuff with everyone on the call here today. For sure. So actually, maybe first I'll just quickly show the badges, because my badges are working here. Just if people are interested. And I think there's the eco credit retirement one here, which I have started minting my eco credits. So I need to refresh the badge. But yeah, so these are the badges. Super excited. It's something we've been thinking about a long time at RefiDAO, of this kind of passport idea and almost gamifying the like on-chain refi actions, and I think there's a lot of kind of social coordination we can then do after this to really drive on-chain behavior into more refi and regen activities, which I think is super exciting. So yeah, been really pleased to be working with Luke on that. But yeah, just a little bit of context for those who are not as familiar with RefiDAO. I'm one of the co-founders of RefiDAO. And one of the main things that we do is support this ReFi local node network. And essentially the core mission of the ReFi local node network is to translate and kind of be a bridge from all of the stuff we're doing in the global ReFi tech, finance, crypto space, and bridge that into real world communities, and actually, leveraging those tools in the real world to create real world impact. And yeah, we've had a kind of growing network of communities and people across the globe who are doing this, and we continue to kind of build up that support. And it kind of works in this more like nested way of the kind of really locally city sub-region kind of nodes to the more bioregional scale. You know, we've got ReFi Mediterranean and Colombia have got a great kind of cluster of nodes there. And then all the way up to the top, we formed quite recently this regen coordination initiative, essentially combining, you know, RefiDAO and all of our nodes and communities with other similar aligned Cosmo local kind of Web3 regeneration networks, like Greenpill Network or Bloom have got an excellent community of kind of local chapters, and the BioFi community, these kind of connected bioregional organizations. And then developing various tools, programs, resources that are applicable across all these networks. And so we've run, I think, over $300,000 to $400,000 worth of grant funding in the last 6 to 8 months, and looking to accelerate those programs over the next 6 months as well. And so we run various grant funding programs, experimenting with different capital allocation mechanisms. This is quite a fun one we did recently with AI agents with different kind of political identities, the regenerator, the communist, the open source capitalist, working out different capital allocation decisions of projects. But essentially what we're building towards now is this kind of Gitcoin 3.0. If people are familiar with the evolution of Gitcoin, they're winding down their main tech product, and they've got about a $20 million treasury, which they're going to allocate. And obviously Celo has a even larger treasury, and Ethereum even larger than that. And our idea is to be the kind of localism regen branch of that ecosystem, and really allocate that matching out to a network of local communities that are able to onboard local impact and regen projects onto the various tools and on-chain, and get funding to those communities. And so, yeah, we're making some exciting developments, building with Karma Gap and other kind of tools to bring that vision to life. And I think there could be some really exciting potential with Regen Network as well, in terms of aligning these programs. So yeah, I'll kind of stop there. Maybe I'll just really quickly cover any of the other stuff. But we also had some big updates with RefiDAO, kind of moving RefiDAO on chain and doing a whole bunch of governance and operational upgrades. Of course, the Prosperity Passport. And one other thing that I think I would just mention to close is we're also setting up this local refi toolkit to basically document all of the different on-chain regen things that you can do, whether that's like planting trees with Sylvie protocol or basically minting various ecological credits with Regen Network. So we want to try and document all of those methodologies and get that knowledge to more communities so we can bring more people. So as well as connecting the capital providers with the kind of on-chain, on the ground communities. So yeah, if you want to learn more, we've just launched these 2 new sites for collecting all of the stuff we're doing. I'll share the links in the chat. But yeah, our resources hub and our new forum, which I'll share in the chat. But thanks for giving me this.
Wonderful. Thank you, Monty. Appreciate all your work and service to the space. Wonderful. Okay, in our last 5 minutes, is that Lena or Lana? I've actually feel like I haven't formally gotten the correct pronunciation. I want to make sure I do it correctly.
It's Lana, like banana.
Lana, thank you, Lana. Appreciate you. Lana's going to talk quickly about Glow Dollar and Spinach and what's moving on that front, and how and tie it into our work with Celo and Regen Coin and whatnot. So Lana, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you. I have an assistant today.
Wonderful.
So apologies if he barks. But I'll just share my screen quick. So I'm with Glow Dollar. So if anyone who hasn't heard of us yet before, we had a little bit of a quick introduction earlier, I believe, by Michael. But we are a US regulated, US issued stablecoin, a lot like USDC and a lot like USDT. Meaning that we essentially, every on-chain dollar of Glow Dollar is backed by an off-chain dollar, which we then invest mostly in US Treasury bills and cash equivalencies. And so us as a foundation, we earn profit on that, much like Circle and Tether, except our model is different. We donate 100% of our profits back into the ecosystems we're a part of, and as well as charities, including humanitarian aid, fighting climate action, and all those good things. We have an app, so if you do hold Glow Dollar, you can actually select a funding cause area. On Celo, by default, any Glow Dollar held on Celo essentially funds your fellow Celo builders that kind of fall under the category of public goods, which is also you guys now as Regen. So as you guys can see here, you're actually participating in one of our campaigns. But we also launched a product called Spinach. And essentially, it's a way we built a product to distribute our own profits to builders on Celo but then now it's actually also its own standalone product that can essentially be used as a layer on top of Regenerative Fi. So we're hoping to see, once that is more live and more pools are deployed, a lot of the ad liquidity you can see there on the right-hand side will actually link to Regenerative Fi. But how Spinach works is it essentially rewards the projects who are bringing liquidity to your token and or who are integrating your token into their product or their dApp. And so what you can see here, which I think is fun, is essentially the regen token you guys paired with us, Glow Dollar. So this month alone, which we're only on day 5, you've already earned $57 in Glow Dollar. And if you actually go to like the payouts, you can see that yesterday you got a payout of $14.28. And essentially the idea is like every single day at midnight, payments are distributed. So it's kind of a fun way to reward builders, and it's a fun way to help kind of incentivize more projects to collaborate and integrate with you. In our case, it's Glow Dollar. We're hoping that potentially the regen community will want to run its own Spinach competition. And so much like how Glow Dollar is rewarding builders that drive liquidity and integrate Glow Dollar, you could do the same thing with the regen token. And again, the hope would be you can kind of loop. I don't know if anyone is into DeFi, but you hear a lot about people looping. So you know, it's essentially like taking rewards from one place and then putting it some other place, and then you kind of compound over and over and over again your rewards. The way Spinach works is on something like Regenerative Fi, because there's the bribing feature. What we're hoping we're going to see is projects looping their rewards. So we're going to see projects deploying a pool on Regenerative Fi, signing up for Spinach competition by pairing with the incentivized tokens, earning money every single day, and then taking those rewards and hopefully using them to actually pay for their bribes to encourage end user incentive rewards. So we're kind of hoping that us on top of Regenerative Fi can create this compounding regen loop where both individual supporters of regenerative projects are rewarded, but also the actual projects themselves are rewarded. And it kind of could be a fun experiment because it would allow regenerative projects to deepen liquidity without actually having to pay for it, which I think is kind of a cool thing and sort of regenerative in and of itself. So that's a little bit about Glow Dollar and a little bit about Spinach. And we're kind of hoping that you guys actually can also go to the Spinach campaign right now and add liquidity if you want. And then the regen project will earn more rewards every single day, the more liquidity is there.
Great, thanks, Lana. This is super helpful, very exciting across the what we're seeing with Regenerative.fi and ReFi DAO, Glow Dollar and Spinach and Regen Network. Unite, become more powerful together. I love it. Great spirit, and appreciate the intensity and intent of our collaboration and work together. So we're at the end of our call today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the Regen community call. We'll be back in July, first Thursday, which I believe is the 3rd. Please keep an eye on the channels for more announcements, but otherwise grateful for all of you and the work that you're doing in the space. You all have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.